Me too.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm quite used to this thing too, Tata. I'm used to this thing too.
Oh.
No hokianga hau. Tēnā tātou. Tēnā kāna kia tātou. Ko huihu mai ki te whakanui i tēnei kaupapa. Ko tā tātou mahi. Whakahirehira. Anō reira, ka nui atu kia tātou kātua. Me inoi tātou. E te atua kaharawa whakawetai ki atu mō ngā āhuatanga kātua. Kei nui a tātou, kei nui a mātai, kei nui a ahinatia mai, te mahi tahi i tēnei wā, te tautoko, te whakarongo, te kōrero. Nō te toi mua tapu, āmen.
Amen. Waiata.
What's it?
Just because I can see some confusion, that waiata was written here at Te Kupenga, originally by some of our staff that were at Teachers College, and it was Te Kuping o Mātauranga. And then they sort of let it over to a wānanga, and we changed it. So now we've come back, we acknowledge both of them. So, just so you know, I could see some confusion there, just so we can know why.
So if you sing it somewhere other than Papaiui o Rohe, they will do 3 Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. If you sing it here, 2 Kupenga and 1 Wānanga.
Okay, so you got that cleared up? Morena, morena. Here we go again. Tuatahi me mihi ki te. Kia koe Maria, I tuku tau kia, I te atu nei hei whakawhainga. Tō mātou tūngia ki runga I te āpāmira. Tuarua, me mihi ki ngā tātou manuhiri, Eritana, nau mai haramai. No, Eritana's from the Puriwa campus, and she's the degree in advisor. She's a reading, don't I didn't mention that. She was a reading. Right, so I thought, let's just not muck around, let's just get straight into it. But I just want to say what a riveting day we had yesterday. Don't you all agree?
Absolutely.
We had a fantastic presentation, starting in the far north with our mate over there, Maria, heading south through Te Arawa, Ngāti Awa, Tūhoi, Havana, shooting across the gorge there to Ngāti Porou for both Irene and Kara, sitting together as well. Shot straight over to the rugged west coast to end our day with our fantasticness. Our fantasticness. yesterday. Congratulations to each of you for completing your presentations yesterday. Can feel that in the air today is like a sense of relief.
Change of clothes.
Jeez, guys, there's like a heavy tiredness in the air. But there's also, you can also feel that nervousness for those that are presenting today. So I just thought, it just acknowledged the air of relaxedness and nervousness. So, our first presenter of the day, no pressure. He also hails from Ngāti Porou. We've had a little change in the program. I know, they are everywhere, literally.
Infiltration.
He may be from Ngāti Porou, but he lives in Wainui o Mata. He works for Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, now they're everywhere too. But he's from the Purirua campus and is based in Lower Hutt. His rangahau is based on researching a demographic that is currently being overlooked, namely kaumātua, with a focus on the use of current technologies and how Kaupapa Wānanga learning framework can be incorporated to provide the best environment and if this framework meets the needs of our kaumātua. So let's jump down, turn around and put your hands together.
Just with the change of plans, I just thought Damien not being here yesterday to see others doing their presentations and their talk, it'll be good for him to go after lunch so he gets an idea of some of the presentations that are done. So I just took all my brother. And plus it gets me out of the way, so I'm not here watching your presentations, I'm doing my report.
You want to be?
Wait, where is Papa here? I'm just kidding. Shush. They say it after me. There's another brother from another mother.
Don't you worry, Rich, I just texted.
I was just about to. Who's Papa here?
No.
Oh, you have to go get Martin. You have to go get Martin because of the flat tyre.
Oh,
It's not taking your time up.
we haven't studied yet.
So as you know, this is my topic that I'll be researching. Part of my rangahau, kaumātua and technology, using the past and present to create a positive future. So we've got kaumātua representing the past, the technology representing the present, and of course the young girl representing the future. And hopefully it's a positive future. So just an overview of my presentation. I'm just going to explain the abstract, why I wanted to do this topic, why I wanted to do the study, the methodology that I went through in doing my rangahau, of course the ethical considerations when working with other people. One of the things I looked at was StudyLink, and this one was to look at the trends of what's happening in terms of training with the older generation. And of course my findings and some conclusions and recommendations. We'll just ask questions as we go through. Not really end of the presentation, guy. The questions as we go through. So, been teaching technology for the last 15 years. Okay, and I've been working with kaumātua during that Kaumātua, well, most students come into our classes, they do have some fears and limitations, and just looking at ways of overcoming those fears. So we've all heard of the digital natives and digital immigrants, trying to combine them, working the natives with the immigrants, becoming digitally savvy. Sounds good. Okay, so why it's important to me, because I've been working with older students, I feel for their passion. I find within our classes, even though they do struggle, they're the most committed. Okay, they're always there on time, they're always there. They're always there. Commitment, hard work. Sometimes they're even there before I am. And they'll still do when I leave.
Wow.
It's true, within the computing, you have people that love to do the work. Okay, so it's looking at how they can use the technology to have more independence and improving their quality of life. As one of my colleagues said today, they may be the hardest people to work with, but they're the most rewarding when you see the results. Okay, I wanted to say I said it, but that's my colleague. Okay, so just looking at there is a capacity in terms of Kaumātua learning new technology, how it can enhance their lives, and I've looked at some frameworks that may best help with this. And one of the things that I had to change was I also wanted to interview whānau members when they came with Kaumātua. So wanting to see how they changed their lives and how they've become more independent in that. Because of time constraints and trying to narrow the scope of my rangahau, I've kind of left that out and may look at doing that at another time. And methodology, so the main methodology when working on my rangahau was kaupapa Māori. Working with Kaumātua, I thought it was important to uphold a person's mana. Okay. So coming in and talking and just having that respect, incorporating things like tikanga Māori, manaaki, all the languages. Providing a whānau environment or safe space. Alright, so with the sorry, just wondering if I talk about, I think I did talk about that wrong.
You go, Reg.
Notice again.
Hey, yeah, have you got Reg's notes? Yeah, but your report.
Alright, so our whānau environment, making them safe. So when I conducted the interviews, they were done at our campus, just because people were familiar with our campus, in classrooms, and we were able to close the door for privacy and that sort of issue.
Yeah.
But just making it familiar and cup of teas, those sort of things. It wasn't a structured, formal interview. So with this one here, the participant consisted of past and current ākonga that I've been working with, and people from other classes as well.
How many, Reg? How many people did you
So I spoke to 10 during this 2-week period. And I also went online and gathered some information from study. That just relates to the kaupapa one. That's all I'll say about that. Alright, so ethical considerations, of course, treating participants with respect, and making sure they felt safe when they were talking to me. I think that just comes along with how you interact with other people, having that trust with each other, so they were comfortable in conducting the interviews. And of course, we were given consent forms. was looking at making sure we protected their privacy, and of course letting them know if they wanted to, they can withdraw at any stage. Okay, so one of the things I took into consideration is StudyLink, and the main reason was this, because as we know in the training environment or the training sector at the moment, there's been a big push to focus on the youth. There's a lot of youth training initiatives out there, a lot of things along those lines. So we're looking at what's there for the older people. So one of the things I've done within the StudyLink arena is I've made some changes at the start of this year. Okay, things like limiting the student allowance. So for those that are 40 over, I'm just alright, so you're looking at reducing the numbers you're allowed to be on student allowance. And of course, if you know you're not going to get money for doing your study, then a lot of people will not study in terms of that aspect. And for those over 65 and over, the student allowance will actually be removed. So for those that of that age, you are allowed to apply for a student allowance. That's in other words, you have to fund your own studies, student loans and things like that. Yeah, and these are all from the study government website.
Just to add some bit more information to that, the reason why they've done that is because any allowances and they're giving out to ministries around employment,
Yeah. So they can't see the benefits of per month we're getting employed. Alright, so just some stats, 1999. So started because of the changing the allowance 40, I started at 40 plus. Just looking at the number of people that were on the allowance in 1999. And over here, and looking ahead to 2013, you can see there's been a big or a large change. Oh, sorry. You can see there's been a big or a large change from those over 60.
Can I just ask, do you know where they study?
No, this is just from the StudyLink site for those that can allow us
interesting.
to know where the actual. So in 1999, we had a total of 4,822 students, which made up 7.5% of all student allowances. There's a big jump to 13.5%. So this shows, or this is what I've figured out, because it shows there is a trend that older people still want to study. And you get to, oh, this is a graph of the same information. Where is that like graphs? And as you can see, it's a big jump in these areas. I also looked at the student loan side. So 1999 and 2013, you see there's been a big jump among those from 60 and up. So there's been a range. So more people are willing to pay for this study in terms of student loans. Actually, it would be good to do that kind of statistics, go through and see where people are studying. Looking at the wāhanga, in terms of ages and what we're doing.
Like in the census, isn't it? How many are studying at the wānau, how many are studying at the uni?
It is.
So again, just looking at student loans in terms of the grant.
Moving on.
Moving on, so just looking at my findings or foundings. Foundings? No findings. No, I found them. Looking to find them. Anyway, so we had, I've broken it up into different areas: knowledge, perceptions, limits and fears, study, and learning style. And within here I talk about the frameworks I hope to incorporate in our So knowledge is looking at before coming on to the course, what sort of knowledge they had in terms of technology. The majority of participants come with little knowledge of computing. Okay, so little was basically, I'll do this one. One of the ladies come in, I gave her the mouse, put the mouse on the screen and move the mouse on the screen. Nothing's happening. Alright, so those are the kind of things we were looking at in terms of technology, limited knowledge, and that was the majority of the older students. Although we did have some, 3 of the participants had a good knowledge base because they were working with computing in the field. And the majority did not use current technology, even though they did have a computer at home. So the technology was there, they just didn't think it was important. And the main use was email, keeping in contact with others. So a lot of them wanted to use technology to keep in touch with family and friends. Some of the quotes that I got from the participants were things like keeping up with the mockers, watching the kids go on and look around, send emails, Facebook is another important thing they looked at. Using Skype, they saw the mockers or the kids able to do this and wanting to learn how to do this themselves, because a lot of time they got poha, or the mockers or the kids started getting poha with these people always asking for help. Can you get me on the Facebook? I want to talk to them. Can you get me on my poker games? So things along those lines. And a lot of the time the help was they'll just actually do it, not actually show the person how to. They'll just do it. Oh, there you go. There you go. Play your pokies. Take some money. And of course using the Facebook was an important one. And that was just the social media communication device. Wanting to communicate with people from other areas. Okay, and they were all motivated by family to do the course. So there was a lot of family or family support when it came to doing the computer. Just like our course here, coming here, write our reports.
And you don't have to do the cooking.
So we had to go down. Okay, so perceptions when it came to learning, some of the participants enjoyed the new challenge. Okay, they were really looking forward to it. For those that had already worked with it, they felt comfortable. And there were some that were completely anxious. Some were scared of learning technology. But they all saw the value in it. They all saw what they could do once they got a good idea. Okay, limits and fears. Okay, the main fear amongst the kaumātua, and I think this is amongst everybody, apart from some of us that don't mind looking stupid, is looking stupid in front of the class. Okay? So, and I found amongst the male participants, this was the main fear. They didn't want to show that they couldn't do something, and for some of them it was quite hard to ask for help. Because they'll be the male, the man, you know, they'll brought home the bacon, as you say, even though I like pork chops. But anyway, so they were looking at, you know, they were afraid to ask for help because they didn't want to show they didn't know. If you understand?
Yeah.
Being stubborn, not stubborn, but just having that feeling Holding everybody up was another fear they had. Being afraid, you know. And I was afraid when I go through frameworks, not getting it. Limits were physical barriers, so things we looked at was the visual and hearing. A couple of the students I did have were arthritis. There was a couple, not many yet, but a couple of the students that I did have were partially deaf.
Do you know what you're doing?
I never done that. I wouldn't do that.
Right?
No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that in that class. Honestly, I didn't do it. Trees will tell you. Alright, and another limit was one finger types. Alright, so I looked at my body of knowledge was looking at watches, humanistic perspective, looking at taking emotion into the context when you're teaching. Right, because these emotions do affect you. And looking at ways to overcome these feelings. That's free. Right, so studying and learning, a lot of them wanted to look at Alright, so we're looking at a lot of them wanted to look at just building up their confidence, team building, practical based learning. So like I was explaining before, the soft skills, so they had excellent timekeeping, their commitment was excellent, punctuality was excellent, they even bought me food. It was excellent. Yeah, you know. Like, I need food. It's always an extra sandwich. Right. And the main thing they're looking at is just the basic computing skills. Things like file management, how to save files, and basically they wanted to know how to use the internet and email. So different learning styles, a lot of them were kinesthetic learners, or hands-on learners, so we were looking at Fleming's class model. Being kinesthetic, actually getting in there and practicing with it. Building confidence and self-esteem. We all know that relates to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Building up their self-esteem. Okay, very important when it comes to any type of teaching. So you can't teach someone if they're feeling down and have that fear. Providing a one-on-one help. Classroom environment, they get more done in the class. This was interesting for me. They like working with different people. Yeah, so they, and this is looking at the social learning perspective, working in groups and taking information from different parts of the groups. Looking at working with peer-to-peer people. So you're getting at different points of view. Just for example, what we do here in this class. If you had the same set of students, you would have the same point of views. And of course, you have the container, which was from and this one here was basically the opposite, where the tainer was always helping or supporting the utility. And we looked at, they like having structured class times, routine. Okay, 9 to 12, break at 10, buy red lunch at 11:30. Right, so they like having that structure, just so they could work other things around their study. And as we know, one of the frameworks that we were looking at was the Kaupapa Wānanga framework. And this works well with this aspect of teaching, providing a safe space for āhuatanga. So in terms of working with technology, it's also providing up-to-date technology was making sure, oh, there's a bell. Okay, providing a safe learning environment, providing technology that's up to date. Because the one thing you don't want people doing is when they're working in there, is the computer's not working. Because they think it's their fault and they come up, oh, what did I do? What did I do? From last night. Oh, you took me last night. So okay, providing the right support for the students. So we have the lovely Eddie, who's our student support worker. She helps the students here and the other parts of our team. And also is part for providing that support they need. Right, koha, the giving and receiving of the time and knowledge. And for me, what's important is always being there for the student. Okay, and koha is also receiving, so kaumata do come with a lot of knowledge. And just taking the time to learn, talk, and of course Modi Ora, which is about building the confidence in others. And that was So the framework I looked at incorporating was what I used was TLC. Anyone else want to go? Alright, so you all know the monkeys? Alright, so we try not to be a monkey. Everyone knows those monkeys?
Yeah.
Try to hide under my fin of the apes.
This one inspired you, eh? The movie last night.
Alright, so we've got our speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. But the TLC framework I look at is the opposite of that, making sure you talk to your ākonga, listen to your ākonga, and the see is just see your ākonga. And then you can take it one step further. Once you're able to communicate and have this bond with your ākonga, we're looking at things like trust, and that trust there, the love and the care of providing that environment. And those are some of the values that we have at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa in terms of whakapono, aroha, and
Wang. Wang. Excellent. Wang.
so conclusion, significant increase in other older people studying. So we know there is a need for the youth, right? There are people out there that want to study. They come willing to learn. They show great commitment when it comes to learning. They enjoy learning in a class environment with different people. So these are some things I have to take into consideration. So the main focus from what they want to learn is the basics of computing, things like Word, file management, and a lot of it's around the communication. So recommendation was there's a need to keep a focus of training kaumata in technology. So maybe just having classes, don't worry about the funding. Just do it for the people. I mean, that's what we were set up for, to do it for the people. And these are some of the most important people in our lives. And having the necessary tools, so incorporating those frameworks to help them learn. Yeah.
consideration for everyone. You talked about tuakana kaina, and as our young people are coming into Haka Kaumātua, you still refer to them as kaina. So my consideration for people is, when does that relationship change? Is it an age issue or is it a knowledge issue? So can our young people become tuakana in a situation like that? Hapai.
Of that knowledge that
And that
but the
is
native basically teaching the
Brilliant presentation. I love the way you're so relaxed and have a lot of fun up here between us. I'm just wondering whether you can see this extending into maybe using smartphones and other digital devices.
Yeah,
iPads, yeah.
I think starting off with computers, the easiest step because it's so, you can physically, bang it, things like that. Whereas an iPhone, iPad, one mistake you may damage them. Whereas with a computer. So once you get that understanding and learning the technology, it's quite an easy transfer. Yeah, it's just using the physical differently.
Well done, Rich. Very
Very
well done. Oh, it's the report. The report was last time.
So that they can see that.
No, they just got to present it and it was coming. And I stopped her because I was sure they come and talk after the fuck.
Yeah, no, you do. Shut up, Rich. I've just got a couple of I loved it because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I can totally relate to the training of Kaumātua and their commitment and their passion to learn this new technology. And we actually had a 90-year-old who stood, because like they were so against it, the rest of the class, the rest of the Kaumātua were afraid, anxious, dumb. This is their words. As she stood and convinced her class, her fellow peer of Kaumātua, that Skype was the future. She Skyped her alternate in Brisbane every Sunday. So I can totally relate to this topic. We used to travel to Hamilton, it was supposed to be a one-off, and we ended up going back 6 times. And we loved it. I wouldn't change it for anything, and if anything, I would love to go back to teaching Kaumātua again. And looking at those smart devices. But you're absolutely right, having a physical fix
It's a good starting
is a good starting point for them. Just to build their confidence up. That mouse thing.
Start from home.
Totally experienced that file clip. Left hand, right handers sitting next to each other, grabbing each other's mouse. One's moving, one's not, one's sitting there going, hey girl, there's a kiwa! So, he mihi nunui ki a koe, Reg. Wasn't that fantastic? Fantastical. And also I think it was awesome swapping with Damien. Great show of comradeship. Manaki. So what we're going to do now is, sure you all know the drill. What are we going to do, people?
Take our holiday or a cup of tea.
We are going to take a holiday, take a cup of tea. Come back and we'll see you back here in 10.
It's very well done.
See you.